All right, welcome to second semester, day 2. Just wanted to make sure we're all off on a great start and having our chapter opener in our Math 3B book done. So the chapter opener pages always have like a little recall knowledge yellow edging to them. So that's what your assignment was for yesterday to complete your chapter opener. So hit the reaction button if you got your chapter opener finished yesterday. Yay, Kenzie, good job. Yay, Asen, I see your hand up. And August gave a thumbs up. Vivian, good. All right, so we want to make sure that we stay on track as our semester moves forward with keeping our pacing going and finishing lessons as assigned. In the Canvas calendar, it tells you exactly what lessons to complete and what pages to do, okay? With our 30-minute classes, we can't complete all of the lesson. It takes about an hour. So I'm just working through the concepts of the lesson, but your examples are different in your practice book so that you have something to work on with your learning coach. So be sure that you're completing that. If you haven't finished the chapter opener, you're going to want to do that and lesson 1 today. All right. So announcements, Yoga Club Friday and Fun and Focus Friday. I will be joining with the Fun and Focus this Friday as middle schoolers lead us through some practice. So they'd like you to come in and do some practice with them with reading. And if you have some assignments you want some help with, even your math, bring it on in and they'll help with that. Then the last club of the month is my club, The Story in a Picture. And then in February, Mrs. Pfeiffer will start up again with her special classes for. All right. Kingston, did you have anything you were going to say? I just thought I saw your hand go up. No? Okay. All right. So we will be getting a new student named Carson, and hopefully we'll see him tomorrow. PE logs, I was just going to check with August, Vivian, and Kingston and see if you have those. If you make sure you share with me. I think August, you had submitted, we just didn't, all the pages didn't come up. So if you can email me the pages that didn't come up, it would be the top 2, I believe, we're missing. So then I can finalize that. Questions, Vivian?
My dad's printing
Okay.
the picture on his work
Oh,
office.
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Is,
Just wanted to double check. Thank you. Yep. I'll just be looking for it. And we'll put it in. All right. So class rules as we start the semester. First thing, cameras should be on for class. So Adeline and Lincoln, if you can turn your cameras on to participate. That's part of being in class is having your camera on.
Want to turn on?
Yours isn't working today, Adelie?
No, it doesn't want to turn on.
Okay. There might be a Zoom update that you'll need to do then for tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if I can find any information on what it should be updated to. As we begin class, I turn the direct messaging off in the chat so we can still communicate with me, but we just use it for direct messaging to the teacher and not to our friends. We like to use our hands to raise. You can use your physical hand, but we're also looking at using our buttons to hit the reaction for hand raising. You're welcome to do that. Just want to remember if we do use that one, be sure to put it down when you're done asking or telling. The writing tools are a privilege, and we use those for specific reasons and directions given by the teacher. So we have the tools and annotate always available. It's just that we only want to use them when we're directed. And then we like to be positive here, right? So when Carson joins us, we can definitely hit our reactions and give him some smiles, right? Let him know that he's welcome. And always being positive, giving those thumbs up and helping one another. We can put backgrounds on. Mine, obviously, I don't have a background on today, but they have to be still. They can't have moving parts, so it's just too distracting. And also, we don't cover our faces with the avatar type things either in class. So it's just too distractible. And we like you to participate and work together. So you guys have been doing a great job this year. Just a good reminder as we start our second half. All right, so we're going to be looking at fractions and learning new terms about fractions and how to represent fractions and write fractions. But what is a fraction? It's a math word, isn't it, that we use, but what is it? What is a fraction? Lincoln? What's a fraction?
There is a mathematical equation called pi.
There is, and we can talk about that in March. You're exactly right. Mrs. Michelson at the middle school always celebrates Pi Day. Tirza.
Like a part of something.
A part of something. Yeah, it is a part of something. It's a special part of something. So we're going to watch a short little video of what a fraction is.
Harry, take class.
With my favorite math antics. So let me hit the sound and let's find out more about what fractions are.
If you've been learning math for a while, then you probably already know a thing or two about fractions. And if you've ever had to, well, break a cookie in half to share with a friend, well, then you've used fractions in real life. Oh, well, thank you. That's because fractions are used to represent smaller pieces or parts of things. When you're first learning about fractions, it can help to draw pictures to see how they work. So let's start by drawing a circle. Now this circle represents what we call a hole. Now, not the kind of hole you can fall into, more like a whole cookie or a whole pizza. Now, if we divide that circle or whole amount into 4 parts, then we call each of those parts a fraction of the original whole circle. Because this is math and not art, we can't just keep on drawing pictures. We need to learn how to write out fractions using the language of math. Yep, you guessed it. That means using numbers. Unlike a regular number, to write a fraction you need 2 numbers, one number on top, one number on bottom, and a line between them. I'll explain exactly what the line's for later in the video. But for now, let's figure out what those 2 numbers mean. Remember, fractions are used to represent parts of something. And the number on the bottom tells us how many parts that something is divided into. The number on top tells us how many of those parts we have. For example, let's write a fraction for our drawing here. I divided the circle into 4 parts, right? So the number on the bottom will be 4. And I still have all 4 of those parts, so the number on top will also be 4. I have 4 out of 4 parts. That means I still have a whole circle. But what if somebody came by and took away 1 part from the circle? Well, the circle's still divided into 4 parts, so the bottom number would still be 4. But I only have 3 of those parts left. So that means the top number will change to 3. So I have 3 over 4, or 3/4 of a circle. Make sense so far? Good. Let's try another example. Let's say that I divide a rectangle up into 8 parts, and I give you 3 of those parts. Since the total number of parts is 8, the bottom number will be 8. And since you have 3 of those parts, the top number will be 3. So the fraction I'm giving you is 3 over 8, or 3/8 of the rectangle. No need to think. Oh, and it's important to remember that for fractions to work right, the parts that you divide the whole up into have to be equal. We can't take a candy bar and say, well, I'm going to divide it into 2 parts, so this is your half, and here's my half. Let's look at a few more examples so you can really see the pattern of how fractions can represent parts of objects. This rectangle is divided up into 3 equal parts, and 2 of them are shaded red. So 2 over 3, or 2/3 of the rectangle, is shaded red. The circle is divided into 12 equal parts, and 7 of those parts are shaded green. So 7 over 12, or 7/12 of the circle, is shaded green. The hexagon is divided into 6 equal parts, and 5 of those parts are shaded blue. So 5 over 6, or 5/6 of the hexagon, is shaded blue. All right.
All right, we're going to stop there. And go back to, was Tirza right?
I love pumpkin pie.
Was Tirza right when she said a fraction is a part? She is. What else did we learn about it? With fractions, what else do we have to know? Tirza, what do we have to add to that? It's parts, and what about them? They have to be equal, right? Because otherwise it wouldn't be fair. And we are fair mathematicians, right? We want to have things divided out equally and share out in that way. So fractions have to represent equal parts. In your math materials, you have these awesome fraction circles. I just love my fraction circles. And they give you one whole, not H-O-L-E, but W-H-O-E, whole, one whole. And then they give you parts that you can represent on the whole. So here's 1/8. I'm going to add a couple more 8s. Now I have 3/8. And here's 8/8. 8/8 makes a whole. So you can use your fraction circles to help find out how many parts make a whole. In this one, we have 8s, and there's 8/8 to make the whole. You can punch them apart so that you can see how much an 1/8 is. And you can use it to compare. Here's a half, and here's an 1/8. All of these parts are based on the size of our whole. So they've taken the whole and cut it equally to make the parts. So there's 1/2, 1 out of 2. And here's 1/8 that represents 1 piece out of 8 that make the whole. So we'll be using these to help us with our fractions. So I'd like you to bring those to class and have those available, okay? So you have to go through your kit and find them after class. All right. So we found out that we can take any whole and divide it equally into parts. And then we can identify with numbers what fraction represents the parts. In this example, they used a rectangle and they divided it into how many equal parts? Show me with your hand. Eyes up here. Rowan, can I have your eyes on the screen? Look at the rectangle. How many equal parts are there? 4, right? 4 equal parts. And then they've shaded one of them. So we can write our fraction to say 1 is shaded out of 4. So we write it as 1/4, and we read it as 1/4. That TH sound is going to come in at the end. So we're going to work on how we read fractions, how we write fractions, and how we identify fractions. So take a look at this one. And we have the whole. How many equal parts? Show me with your hand. Good, 5, right? And then 1 is shaded. So the fraction is 1/5. Who can read that fraction? Who knows how to say it? Kenzie, go ahead.
1/5.
1/5. And you can hear that th that Kenzie used at the end.
Yeah.
1 and then 5th. Not 1/5, but 1/5. So we have to get that in there, that TH. It's a little bit of a tongue twister sometimes. Good job. So let's take a look at this one. So we have our number at the top and our number at the bottom in our fraction. And the top one represents what's shaded, and the bottom one's going to represent how many parts there are in all. So let's first write how many parts in all. This larger rectangle is divided into how many parts. Hey, good job, Aubrey. High five. Nice job. I saw you have your fractions there. So how many equal parts? Can you count them up? So we have 4 on the top row and 4 on the bottom row. 4 and 4 is 8, right? So the bottom number, and this is what you're going to be doing in your lesson today, is you're going to have to look at the pictures and write the fractions. So eyes up here on the screen, we're going to put the 8 in the denominator spot on the bottom. And then we're going to identify the number shaded. We only have 1 to mark there. Now, who can read this fraction? Addie, give it a whirl.
One plus 8.
So instead of 8, we're going to add a little something to it. Asen, do you want to say what the ending part? 1 what? We use the at the 8. Good job. 1/8. So Adeline, it's a little bit more we got to add on. We can't say the number's name. We have to say what the fraction name is. So when we're using parts, we're going to hear that TH sound in most cases. Now, how do we read this one? 1/2. 1.
1/8.
Nope, that's this one. That's 1/8. We just did the 1/8, but this one is 1/2. 1/2. August? How do we say this? Fraction. My favorite part of an apple. I like to split it with someone, share it with a friend. We each get
Half.
1/2.
1/2.
So 1/2 doesn't end in th, does it? One half. So the F is at the end, half. So we're working with our phonics and sounds and fractions all at the same time. All right, take a look at this one. How many 6 would make a whole? How many 6 would we have to make that whole thing shaded? Because remember, the top part of our number is going to tell how many parts are shaded. If we wanted the whole thing shaded, show me with your hand how many parts we would use to be shaded. Seeing some people not looking at the screen. We need eyes up on the screen so we know what we're doing here. There we go. 6. I'm seeing 6. Good job. So let's shade them in. We have 1 shaded. Now we have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That one slid a little bit. Let's fill that in a little bit better. So there it is. 6 out of 6 are shaded. So to make a whole, the top number or numerator is going to be the same as the denominator. Just like that. So that's a lot of 6. Let's take a look at what that would look like. 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. That's a lot of 6 to put together, isn't it? To get to our 6/6. Well, it doesn't want to move for me here. One at a time, I guess. So if we put all our parts together, all our 1/6, we'll end up with a whole. And another way to write a whole is that it's equal to just 1. Just like on my whole in my fraction circle. 1. Just the number 1. Not with any bar or anything. We just write 1. So we can represent this shape as either 6/6 or 1 whole. Anytime both or all parts are shaded. So take a look at 1 whole here, my fraction circle. I'm going to add 1/2 to it. Then I'm going to put in another half. And look at there. There's my whole. It's the same as 1 whole because we use 2 halves to make a whole. 2/2. All right, any questions about writing fractions and reading fractions? That's what you're going to be working on today, looking at some shapes and find out how many equal parts there are out of the total number. So you'll be writing fractions as you go through your lesson. So lesson 1. All right, well, thanks for your hard work today, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Do you have 10 o'clock class today?